Hi. So today I just have a quick note about in-memory databases versus an SQLite database, or Sqlite database as they call it. Right. So first let me show you the database. That's here. And it's just an SQLite database. And I map the internal structures directly to tables. So it's very straightforward. I don't use a GORM, which makes things a bit more cumbersome, but then again, I have full control, right? So that's very simple and easy. Now I have the same database implemented in memory simply by using maps and the structures themselves. So I use the structures that I use internally and also for serialization in my protocol. For instance, user, group, org, subscription, access token, and so on. So these are directly put into maps and the whole thing is synchronized to make it thread safe using a mutex. Right. So the question is, how fast does this run in comparison to the SQLite database? And I have some benchmarks in my tests. So if I put this flag, bench equals dot, that means that it looks for all the benchmark files in the current directory and will run them. So let's do this. And I can already tell you that I will have to shorten the video when the SQLite database runs. So, all right, so it starts. Oh, let me first change this quickly because it's on the right-hand side. So it's running the in-memory database and should be finished soon. Right, now it's finished, which is quite decent. It's a fast operation. Now this I will have to cut. It takes a long time.
A few moments later.
And there we go. So the SQLite database benchmark has finished. And as you can see, it's super slow in comparison to the in-memory database. Now that doesn't mean that SQLite is slow. It just means that in-memory is so much faster, even though I'm using mutexes and it's not optimized at all. So it's orders of magnitude slower. Now I want to mention that what takes most of the time in the in-memory database is the serialization. So I serialize the database once because otherwise it wouldn't be a fair comparison, because of course SQLite is fully persistent and actually ACID compliant. So yeah, with the serialization, it's still much faster. That was quite shocking, even though it's completely normal. Of course, everybody knows that in-memory is much faster. I just didn't expect it to be so much faster. Still, I will, for the time being, continue to use the SQLite database because it's the best tested piece of software that exists as far as I know. I mean, there's way more lines of tests in SQLite than code. So it's really, really resistant against server failures. If there is corruption, if it's programmed correctly, unless you do something weird with several processes for which SQLite is not designed, if you follow the guidelines, if there is corruption, it's file system corruption, but it's not a corruption of SQLite itself. In contrast, my own serialization, well, I've been careful. I even did the rename trick. So I write to a temporary file and then I do the renaming. So that's atomic in some operating systems, but not all, and this kind of stuff. But still, I wouldn't trust it as much. So for the time being, I stick with the SQLite. But obviously, it's much slower. So if I need performance, I might have to switch to an in-memory database, which can also be made distributed then very easily. But let's see. So I hope you like this video. That's all for today. And if you like, subscribe and see you next time. Bye.